Alrighty, guys, this is your phonics lesson for Friday, February 26th. We are on lesson 2 of Unit 5. We just started a new unit and we have new spelling words. And yesterday you were supposed to put them in ABC order. So I hope that you did that. I'm going to go ahead and let you know that your spelling work for today is you are going to write your words 3 times each on page 55. Remember, it needs to be in a box form. Do not write them straight across, okay? Make them in a box form like we did here, okay? All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Like I said, we are on Unit 5, Lesson 2. And we're going to start today with some chaining. Okay, before we get started, I want to show you something that I found. It's the random word wheel. I'm going to go ahead and spin it for today's magic word. So our magic word for today is the word run. Okay, so make sure that you tell me in the Google comment section what today's word is, okay? All right, so we are going to open up our Jamboard. We're going to open up a new slide. Make this a little bigger. I want to use, let's do teal again today. All right, so our first word that we are going to start today is the word start. So here's the word start. All right, so now we're going to take the word start and we are going to change the t in start at the end to ch. So we have starch. Good. All right, so now we're going to take the word starch and we're going to get rid of the st part. So it's just arch. All right, so now we're going to take the word arch and we're going to change the ch part to mm. That's right, we have arm. Good. So now we're going to add the h sound to the beginning of arm. We have the word harm. Very good. We're going to take the sound of harm and change it to t. We have heart. Very good. All right, so now we're going to take the h sound of heart and change it to d. We have dart. Very good. All right, so now we're going to change the t sound of dart to k. So we have dark. Nice. All right. So now we're going to add to the end of dark. So it's darker. Very good. All right. So now we're going to change the d sound of darker to marker. Very good. So we started with the word start. We kept making one little change and we ended with the word marker. All right, guys, I'm going to pause the video for just a second. We're having parent conferences here at Fairview tonight, and I just heard someone yelling. So I'm going to go make sure everything's okay. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It was just a little toddler in the hallway screaming. So everything's good. All right, let's get back to our lesson. So we actually are done with our Jamboard. Okay, so we are to the point where we take one word from a sentence and we look at the blend and we're going to manipulate that blend and change the phonemes, deleting the first sound of that ending blend. So our first sentence is, we live in a very big world. World. So if we break that word apart, we have world. So the old is the blend. We're going to get rid of the first sound of blend. So now we just have word. Word. What is the new word on the curve? It is word. Very good. Our second sentence, we ate a feast of food to celebrate last night. So we have the word feast, feast, feast. So the st is the blend, okay? We're going to get rid of the s part, and now we just have feet, feet. So the new word on the curve is feet. Very good. Okay, so our next sentence is, Chris and Lauren played tuba in the marching band. So we have the word band, and we break that word apart. The blend is and, band. We're going to take the sound of band and make it just say d. So now we have bad. Bad. So the new word on the curve is bad. Good. All right, so can you lend me your costume for the party? We have the word lend. Lend. What is the blend in the word lend? That rhymes, doesn't it? All right, so we break that word down. We have lend. Lend. So again is the blend. We're going to get rid of the part. Now we just have lead. Lead. So the new word on the curve is lead. Very good. All right. And then our last sentence is, I learned to chunk sounds together to read. Chunk. Chunk. What do you think the blend is going to be in the word chunk? The NK. Good. So we have chunk, chunk, and we're going to get rid of the first sound in that blend, the n. So now we just have chuck, chuck. So the new word on the verb is chuck. Very good. All right, it is Spoonerism time. All right. So the Spoonerism for today is, this should really be easy. This is the easy one, guys. It's Mance to the Jusic. Mance to the Jusic. What do you think that says? Mance to the Jusic. Yeah, it says dance to the music. Very good, guys. Alrighty, so our learning targets for today's lesson are, I can read words with the O spelling, I can sort words with different sounds, and I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, the beginning. So let's take a look at our spelling tree. So we already know the spellings, like in the words up and nuts and butt. And we've also learned just yesterday about the O as a in box and fox and mom. And I'm sorry, this is the part we learned yesterday. So you already learned that the O is in as in O, like no, so, and go. But today we're going to learn the O, which can represent the sound. Okay? Like in the word sun. There's no U in there. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. There's no U in that word, but the O makes a U sound. It says So we're going to trace it in green. Look at this power bar. What does that power bar tell us, guys? It seems to be a fairly common way to spell the sound. It's not a little tiny and it's not a big huge bar, but it seems like it's used often enough. So we're going to go to page 7 of our code chart. And we're going to find the Here it is. The O makes the sound like in the word sun. So we're going to highlight that in green. Okay. All right, so let's practice reading some words that have that O spelling. Okay, so we have cover, mother, one, brother, month. All right, so let's go back and say them again. I want you to say it after me this time, okay? Cover, mother, one, brother, month. All right. So you have some work to do today. We're going to do worksheet 2.1. Okay. So it says, sort the words by spelling. Write the words with the sound spelled U under bug, and write the words with the sound spelled O under other. And I gave you a little voice message here that explained it to you also. So it looks like the word rush. Rush. The sound is spelled with a U. So it's going to go here, spelled with a U. Then I looked at the word sun. The letter that says in sun is the O. So it's going to go over here where it says spelled O. All right. You're going to take the other words in the sort and you are going to put them in the correct spot. So let's do a few together just so you understand what to do. So let's look at the word trust. Trust. Which letter makes the sound? The U. So I'm going to type it here under this one. Okay. What about the word month? Where should that one? What letter makes the sound? The O makes the sound. So I need to put it over here. Okay, and then I'm going to mark that one out. Okay. Now I have the word ugly. Ugly. Where is that one going to go? Under the U. That's right. Okay. So, I'm going to undo these so you can do them on your own. Okay. So that's what you're going to do for worksheet 2.2. All right. And this is just an example of the worksheet that we just did. Okay. All right. So 2.1. All right. So let's look at worksheet 2.2 that you're going to do today also. This is easy peasy, guys. We're just taking these words that have the sound and we're going to decide where the word goes in the correct sentence. So you're going to read the words. We have mother, cover, month, money, wonder, dozen, trumpet, grumpy, mummy, and thunder. And you're going to decide which one of these sentences does it go in correctly. All right, so we have learned a lot about sounding out words or stretching out words, and now we're ready to start reading words with tricky spellings, or even with spellings that you've not learned yet. So we're going to read all of those words. I want you to go back to worksheet 2.2. I'm going to show it to you again. I want you to read these words to yourself. Just the words in the box. So go ahead and push pause, read the words, and then push play, okay? Okay. So sometimes you are going to come across words that you will have to stretch or sound out on your own. And you're going to have to use your very best skills, like thinking about tricky spellings and chunking syllables in order to sound out or to stretch out those words. And you also need to use your context clues to see if the word you have sounded out makes sense in the sentence where you used it. Because if it doesn't make sense, you probably didn't stretch it out right. So you need to be a word detective when you are reading, guys. That way you can figure out what the word means, okay? Let's go back and look at the sentence, okay? Let's look at this word right here. Let's say I don't know this word. So I could try to stretch it out and I could say, ard. Ard, is that a word? No, that's not a word. That doesn't sound right. So I'm going to try. I know that there's an AR together. So I know A is R. So ard. That still doesn't sound right. Let's see. Maybe I just, maybe I do the ER together. Heard. Heard. Does that sound right? We heard. That could be the correct way to say that word. We heard the blank before we saw the ig, n. That does not sound like any word I have ever heard before. Let me try that a different way. So I see that there's an IGH together, and I know that IGH together says I. I know that ING says ing. So let's try that again. I, ing. Lightning. That makes more sense. Okay. So do you see how I took the words that I was not sure of and I stretched them out and then I said, that doesn't sound right. Let me try that again. And then I put things together that I knew. I chunked things. I looked at the syllables that I knew were together and I figured out what the word was. All right, time to wiggle, guys. Time to wiggle. All right, I want you to cover your ears. Can you hear me? Can you hear me with your ears covered? All right, bounce up and down if you have a brother. And I do have a brother. So I'm going to bounce up and down. All right, walk to the front of the room. Go ahead, walk to the front of the room. You better do it quickly, though. All right, ready? Cover your eyes. Can you see me? If your eyes are covered, can you see me? No? Okay. All righty, guys. Go ahead and wiggle back down to your seats. If you need to take a break, if you need to go get a drink or go to the bathroom or just do some stretching, go ahead and do that because we do have quite a bit to do with our story today. It's a little bit longer than normal because there's a lot of vocabulary we need to learn, okay? So go ahead and take a quick break and then go ahead and come back as soon as you are done with your quick break, okay? And by quick, I mean less than 5 minutes, all right? Bathroom, drink, stretch, take a walk around the house, something like that. But be back in 5 minutes. Okay, so our story today is called The Beginning. And we're going to look at the front cover of our new book called Sir Gus. And this is a reader about a knight named Sir Gus. So let me show what it looks like. There we go. All right, so here is Sir Gus. Everybody see him? Mm. So this is about a knight, and his name is Sir Gus. And a knight is a person who's a type of soldier who lived a long time ago during a period in the world called the Middle Ages. And this time in history took place in Europe before Columbus discovered America and even before the Pilgrims traveled to America. Knights were often soldiers for a specific king, and they helped those kings defend their kingdoms. The term sir was used to refer to knights in the Middle Ages who had earned a certain distinction of honor or honor in serving their king. So just anybody couldn't be called sir. And this section had illustrations of things from the Middle Ages, often referred to as the medieval times. So our story today is going to have things, illustrations of things that were around during the Middle Ages in the medieval times, is when there were periods of time when there were lots of kings and queens and knights. We still have kings and queens today, and there's technically still knights, but they're not quite the same. And knights really did exist. However, in many fairy tale stories that we read, knights are fictional characters who often fight dragons and have to break magic spells. And in this reader, Sir Gus, he is fictional, okay? So knights really did exist, but they're not real in our story today. So let's take a look at some pictures in the story. Since knights were in charge of protecting others from their enemies, they needed weapons to help them do that. So our first weapon is called a lance. Okay. And if you look at it very carefully, it's a long pole that knights would hold on to while they were on horseback. Let me show you a picture of an actual lance. Okay, here we go. Here's a lance. Okay. So it's a long pole that knights would hold on to while they were riding a horse. Why do you think they would need to hold on to that while riding on a horse? What do you think they used them for? The, the lance. Usually, when the knights were riding on horseback and they had the lance, they would use it to knock things over, like other knights off their horses. So then we have a shield, and a shield is what a knight would carry in front of his body to protect himself from other knights and swords. And here's a picture of his shield. And sometimes shields were decorated with something like colors or a flag or a crest to represent the king that knight served and their lands. Okay, so then we have a spear, not a sphere, a spear, and it's a pointed and sharp weapon. And this word is both a noun and a verb, because obviously a spear, it's a thing, okay? But when you stab something, when you puncture something, you say that you speared something. Here is Here's a spear. All right, and then we have a sword, and this is a weapon that is used by knights to fight their enemies. What do you think a sword is made out of? Just by looking at that picture. Let me show you the other picture. There's another sword. What do you think those are made out of? Metal, definitely, like steel, maybe iron. Okay, then we have armor. Armor is made of metal, and knights wore armor to protect themselves. Can you guys imagine having to wear a suit of armor? And it was basically, I mean, you can tell he's covered from head to toe in armor. First of all, imagine how heavy that would be. And secondly, imagine how hot that would be. Like, oh my goodness, what if the sun was shining down on you? It's like you're sitting inside of a soda can. Why do you think they would need to wear those? They would definitely need it to protect themselves. If you look at this picture, even the horse has on armor to protect his throat and his face to help protect him from the enemies. And this knight is carrying a flag, which represents the colors of his kingdom. How do you think it would feel to wear all that heavy armor and just have that teeny tiny little space to be able to look through? These little teeny tiny slits. That's all he has to be able to look out and see what's going on around him. How would that feel? I think that would be very difficult. It would make me nervous because you can't really see what's going on around you. Then we have the word castle. And a castle is a large place where kings and queens lived. And as you can tell, there were thick walls on the castle to protect them from their enemies. And here's another picture of a castle. And then we have the word fears. And fears are things that people are afraid of, like spiders or the dark. So let's look at some of our spellings in today's story. So we have um the O spelling for the sound, like in from and of. And we have the EA spelling for the E sound, like see and peaceful and feasts and fears. For our for our just look at that picture, that's so weird. So for our vocabulary, we have the word odd, which means strange. It is strange and odd to see a shark walking with horse legs. Hmm. Then we have the word faint, which is when a person passes out and they fall to the ground and they kind of seem to be asleep. Absent-minded means you are forgetful. And when the book is going to say, Sir Gus always served him well, that's just saying that Sir Gus always did the best that he could for his king. And then our last one is the word well known, which means fully or widely known. It means you're popular, people know you very well. So let's turn to the table of contents and find the page on which the chapter Sir Gus and his stuff begins. Oops. All right, here we are. Sir Gus and his stuff starts on page 2. All right. Is my computer about to die? Hold on one second. I need to go back. No, I don't need to go back. Let me see. I don't think that I put this page on here. Nope, that's right. It goes right to the beginning. Okay. Thought I made a mistake there. All right, so this is called The Beginning. Long before you were born, in a place we can no longer find, there was a king. King Alfred was his name. King Alfred was in charge of a large land that stretched from the dark forests of the north to the sea in the south. The people of this land were very happy with him as their king. King Alfred liked to have fun. He liked parties and feasts. He was fair and kind, and he kept his people safe. King Alfred could not do this all by himself. He had 12 knights to help him keep his lands peaceful and his people safe. These brave knights, well, sometimes they were brave, helped to keep bad things from happening. The most well known knight of all was Sir Gus the Fearless. The king himself had given Sir Gus the name Fearless. This was an odd name, for Sir Gus was not entirely fearless. In fact, he had a lot of fears. Sir Gus was scared of the dark. He was scared of mice and bats and spiders. He did not like boats, and he could not swim. Shadows and loud noises made him faint. In fact, lots of things made Sir Gus faint. Sir Gus had all the things a knight must have. He had a shield and a lance. He had a spear and a sword. But Sir Gus liked a long soak in a bathtub better than a fight. Cats and horses made Sir Gus itch. Sometimes the itching was so bad that he would start jumping up and down. Sir Gus was rather absent minded. He got lost a lot and could rarely tell which way to go. Sir Gus found it difficult to get up in the morning. He liked to sleep in, so he was late most of the time. All in all, Sir Gus was a rather odd knight, but King Alfred did not see this. What he saw was that Sir Gus always served him well. Okay, so how many knights did King Alfred have? King Alfred has 12 knights. Let's go back and look. It says King Alfred could not do this all by himself. He had 12 knights to help him. So why do you think King Alfred gave Sir Gus the name Fearless? What's your opinion on that? I think it's kind of funny. Like the story said that King Alfred likes to have fun. So that kind of makes me think that he's kind of given him the name Fearless, even though he's got a lot of fears, to just try to be funny. So is Sir Gus's character brave? Why or why not? So Sir Gus does not sound brave. He's afraid of many things, like the dark, mice, bats, spiders, boats, shadows, and loud noises. That does not sound very brave to me. So what things makes Sir Gus itch? Let's see right here. It says cats and horses made Sir Gus itch. So horses and cats make Sir Gus itch. And Sir Gus likes to do what things? What are the two things the book says that he specifically likes to do? Here's one. It says he likes to sleep in and he likes long soak in a bathtub better than a fight. So, Sir Gus likes sleeping in and long soaks in the bathtub. All right, so make sure that you get handouts 2.1 and 2.2 all finished today for your work. Hold on one second. Okay, so there's one more thing that you're going to do. You're going to read the story again, and then you are going to open up worksheet 2.4. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, and you're going to type your answers today using the text box, okay? And make sure that you are going back into the story to find the answers, okay? So I want you to use specific information from the stories to answer these questions. All right? So your learning targets for today were: I can read words with the O spelling. I can sort words with different sounds. I can ask and answer questions about key details in the story, the beginning. And you did all of those. So the only thing that we have left to do right now is talk about your grammar work for today. So yesterday we reviewed sentence or statements and questions. Today we're going to review commands and exclamations. Okay. So your first activity is to go over commands. And remember, a command is a sentence that tells or asks someone to do something. Hold on one second. Sorry, that was my alarm. So a command tells or asks you to do something, okay? So here's 2 examples. Come to the city with us. Well, that is you're telling someone to come with you to the city. So you're telling them to do something. Bring your camera. You're telling someone to bring their camera. What does each command tell someone to do? You're telling them, come with me, bring this. So you're going to read each sentence and tell me if it's a command, okay? So the example is, please follow me. So saying the word please with the command, it makes it more polite, but you were still telling them to do something, okay? So it's still a command. The next one says, have you ever been to the city? Well, is that a command or is that a question? Are you telling them or are you asking if they've done it? Yeah, they're asking if you've done it here. So this is not a command. This is a question. So I put an X here. You don't have to put an X. You can just leave it blank if it's not a command. So you're going to look at 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to read it carefully. If it is telling someone to do something or asking someone to do something, then it is a command, and just put your text box beside it and write command. So remember, a command is a sentence that tells or asks someone to do. So you're going to read each pair of sentences and you're going to circle the command. So the example says, watch your step, you might trip. Which one of those is telling you to do something? Yeah, the watch your step is telling you to watch your step. So that's why I circled it. So you are going to do 6, 7, and 8 on your own. Each one has 2 sentences. Only one of those sentences is a command. All right. Now the next part says writing applications. Imagine visiting a new city with your friend. You're going to write 3 commands to your friend about the trip. And that could be something easy, like maybe it's going to rain and I tell my friend, bring your umbrella. Okay. Or wear something warm, or wear comfortable shoes, or look both ways before you cross the street. Watch your step. Don't go in that building. Don't touch that rail. Those are all things about the trip that you're making a command. You're telling them what to do. Okay. And then we're going to talk about exclamations. An exclamation is a sentence that shows strong feeling, like, what a wonderful day, or it is such fun to go shopping. So, what feeling does each of those sentences show? It shows excitement. Exclamation shows excitement. So, we are going to read the sentences and tell if it is an exclamation. So, here's the example. How busy the mall is. That's an exclamation. It's showing excitement. What about the mall is near our farm? Does that show excitement? Not really. So we're just going to leave it alone. What about this trip is great? Does that show excitement? Yes. So we're going to put exclamation. If you want to, you can just put a capital E. That's fine because that's the big word. So you're going to do 3, 4, and 5 on your own. If it is an exclamation, you will write that. If not, you just leave it alone. So remember that an exclamation is a sentence that shows strong feeling. You're going to do the same thing here. You're going to read each pair of sentences and then tell me if it is an exclamation. You're not going to write it, though. You're going to circle it. So you're just going to circle the exclamation. All right, so look at those hats. How fine they are. Well, which one of those is the exclamation? This one that says how fine they are. Yes, that's the one that shows feelings and emotion. So you're going to do 6, 7, and 8. Each one has 2 sentences. Decide which one is the exclamation and circle it. And now the writing application. This is taking a while. Okay. So it says, how would you feel if you went on a special shopping trip? Write 3 exclamations about it. So think about if you were going on a special shopping trip to buy anything that you want. Maybe it's like your favorite thing in the entire world. What are 3 sentences, 3 exclamation sentences that would make you super excited? I want to do that. Let's do. Okay. So my examples would be, oh, let's see. I want to buy it all. That would be a good example sentence. Or I could say, and remember, money is no object on this shopping spree. Okay. You don't have to worry about money. Okay. I'm going to say, I'm getting 2 of everything. That would be super excited. All right. And then another example would be, I got the last one. Okay, so those are my examples. So you are going to write 3 sentences with exclamations about how you would feel to go on that shopping trip. Okay. All right, so that is your work for today. Remember, you have spelling work to do today, you have grammar work to do today, and you have phonics work to do today. So you have all 3 things to do today. All right, so once you get those finished, have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.